Over the next 7 days, 7 teams will compete in one of the most grueling lacrosse competitions in senior ball in the country of Canada. It is the President's Cup. It's the chase for the Prezi as we bring you live here from the Toronto Rock Athletic Centre in Oakville, Ontario. I'm Matthew Carrick alongside Brian Shanahan and our JVI Sports Network crew. And the Snake Island Muskies and Tuscarora Tomahawks will kick us off, Shanny. Both coaches saying that this should be and could be a defensive and goaltenders battle to start this one.
Yeah, I talked to Josh Sanderson, one of the coaches of Snake Island yesterday, and he says his team is all defense first. And I also talked to Darius Kilgore of Tuscarora, and he said this is bonus time. They started their season 0-6, went into the playoffs with a losing record, got hot, so everything is gravy now. Not to say they're not expecting and hoping to win it, but there's no pressure on them.
They're here by way of an overtime victory against Allegheny. Both of them looking to make their first President's Cup appearances. Tuscarora make their debut here in the purple uniforms, maroon if you will, gold lettering going left to right, away from Dylan Sprents. And we'll have to be talking more about him as this game goes. Snake Island will play the double here today. They come back at 8 p.m. tonight, and they look to Nick DeMood.
And that's earlier you said how this is such a grueling tournament, and that's just one example that every team is going to play 2 games in one day, and it's Snake Island, their turn today to play 2 games. This is a tough tournament.
Well, and then they draw the second game of the day tomorrow before they have a big gap before coming back on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Opening shot bounces wide there of Dylan Sprents, who was fantastic in that deciding game number 5. Ball be flipped to James Chadwick, who forced the overtime. Just trying to beat the shot clock. He kind of turned and spun and got it past the Allegheny netminder. Shot here, I believe that was Carson Reese that couldn't get it past the defender late in the shot clock. It'll bounce back, and DeMood will play it off the end boards. White jerseys here for Snake Island. They go right to left in period number 1 off the home bench. First of 3 scheduled 20-minute periods as we play CLA senior rules here in this tournament. Over to the near side, Joe Resiteritz, who joins this team from Akwesasne, a huge pickup for the offense here of Snake Island.
Yeah, that's absolutely a huge pickup. He played for Akwesasne. As you said, you're allowed. Some teams are allowed to pick up players depending on what province they're from, and that's a great pickup for them. You know, he's a guy who scored over 100 points in the NLL a couple of times, and we'll be saying his name a lot.
Walking in, quick shot there from Hunter Lemieux, Rochester Nighthawks product, who we get our first penalty. Our officials, by the way, Sean Grenier calling that one, the Ontario representative, joined on the floor by Jacoby Krassman of BC and Herbie John, the standby official from the Can-Am League.
So first power play of the game is going to go to Tuscarora.
Saw the replay there of Brian Rice getting knocked down, and Tuscarora, as you said, the first power play chance. Quarterback will be Anthony Patterson, the playoff leader for this team. They go quick stick down to the crease to Hunter Lemieux, but no room at the side of the post there.
DeMood read that play.
DeMood really coming on as a good goaltender in the past, I would say, 2, maybe 2.5 years coming out of the pandemic. Played solid in winter ball here in Ontario. Drawed him a look from Panther City, and now trying to win himself a national title. From the outside, he gets that one caught. Looks like right between the right arm. Somehow kept it in front of him. The captain, Zach Deacon, jogs it over center.
Over back. They're not playing the NLL rules, so the over back line is not center. It's actually that line just on the more offensive side of center.
And there's the name that we're going to call a lot from Tuscarora in this tournament, Ron John, out in transition. New York Riptide product and absolute loose ball machine through the playoffs for Tuscarora. Ball played up high from Chris Atwood now, 45 seconds remaining in the Muskies minor. Atwood will draw the double team, looking to send it through the middle, and Vaughn Harris couldn't catch. No Brandon Swamp, Casey Swamp, Wallace Thompson, Ty Thompson, or perhaps most notably Stephen Keel for the Muskies coming out here in game number 1.
Yeah, that's a big name not to be playing this game.
Don't know if he'll be available for tonight, if they're just trying to save some bodies. Again, basically 3 games in what's less than 48 hours. And I wouldn't think chicken and pasta tastes pretty good at 9 a.m. either, but just past the 11 o'clock hour here in Ontario, first of 4 games on the day.
Yeah, in this tournament, not only are there great teams, there's like 4 or 5 teams who could win this, but it's a tournament of attrition. You got to stay healthy. You got to, that's what you got to do to win this tournament. You can't have a bad game and lose. That could cost you.
They're going to call a moving screen over on the far side, and they're going to lead transition again, Tuscarora, but quickly breaking back with Skylar Thomas. Take that away, and a rebound here. They're going to call back in as Thomas was knocked down into his crease.
That was good pursuit by Tuscarora to push him back in his crease. Demuth has looked solid so far. He's obviously had more work than at the other end.
Here's James Chadwick from the outside. Ball up top. It's now to the far side. Spinning back. Kent Baker prints up. Still no pass option. Shot clock now down to 5 before it's stripped.
Sorry, Jerry Stotts is just so aggressive defensively. And when I talked to Josh Sanderson last, and I said, who are your key guys on defense? He was the first name he mentioned.
Stotts coming out of the Six Nations junior program, playing with Georgia now. Over the top, on the run, picking the corner. That's Vaughn Harris.
Vaughn Harris has always been a sharp shooter. Played many years in the NLL, scored 16 playoff goals this year, but watch him come across the top, and he is just going to snipe. Sees a lot of interference going, gets a step, but it's the shot. He just picks that top left corner.
Jake Rice in front, opening the space for the opening goal of the tournament. It goes to Snake Island side, and Vaughn Harris wins it. As we look forward to the weekend already, there is no real playoff structure. It's the first 4 that make it to the semifinals to play for gold and silver and bronze on Saturday. So moving day Friday is going to be an interesting one. You don't want to go down early. Big day, as we said, for Snake Island playing the double. They look quick stick for Chris Atwood. That one bounced, I'm going to say, off the arm of Dylan Sprents, where it's now picked up in front of Tuscarora's bench. Skylar Thomas will pass it back.
Notice the no over and back.
Yeah,
there.
only
when
you're killing a penalty.
Yeah, it's not the NLL rule, so you can flip it back. You got the whole floor. Yeah, when you're 5-on-5.
Thomas brings it down again. Getting a little help over on the far side. And as they pass it back, it's intercepted. Heron Snow got as far as center before he finds a pass to Marvin Curry. His shot gobbled up by Demuth.
Yeah, nice play by Curry on that 2-on-1. I think it was the right choice to take the shot, but Demuth just looks so comfortable early on in this game.
Vaughn Harris, who opened the scoring moments ago. Scoreboard here in-house showing 7 shots on goal now for Tuscarora.
Oh, there was just a late stick check there to force Harris to shoot over the net.
He'll get it back again and just misses to the glove side there of Sprents, and as it goes wide, the shot clock does expire. Worth noting that this is a carpeted floor here at the track and an air-conditioned facility, which is not always the case in this tournament. Last time it was here, 2015, it was at Jack Gatecliff in St. Catharines, which was definitely not air-conditioned. But this is the 400 or 800 meter of the lacrosse tournaments. Bit of a sprint, bit of a marathon, but again, all trying to get to those semifinal games on Friday.
Yeah, and I was talking to management in one of the teams, and we talk about how it's tournament of attrition, and you want to play everybody as much as possible, stay healthy. And they told me the story of a few years back where they didn't put their best lineup in against one of the weaker teams, and they got upset, and it cost them a medal. And so you got to be careful. It's tough decisions. You want your best lineup, but you want to rest if you can.
Chadwick trying to go through the defense. That last possession, by the way, we saw Joe Resetaritz being taken down by Zach Belter. A great defensive effort that required a shout-out down to our left on the last possession. Chris Atwood, with 8 minutes gone here in the first, finds a cutter, and no room between the legs for Briar Jonathan.
Jonathan was like wide open. There was a lapse on defense for Tuscarora there.
And now Jonathan's going to go to the box. As that ball got turned over, ran over his man, and they cross-check. I thought Grenier was calling the check from behind. I was looking to see if that was a 2 or 4, but cross-check is the call. And the second power play will set up for Tuscarora. Did not score on their opening opportunity. Anthony Patterson tried to walk off the shooter's spot and couldn't get it through the defense. Zach Deacon turned up floor and was about to take off in transition.
And, Patterson did a great job getting his stick on Deacon's stick. Or that would have been a clear-cut breakaway.
Deacon ties it up there on the half boards. We'll jog back to try and kill more of the penalty, but already 40 seconds gone here against the Tomahawks.
Yeah, so far when it hasn't been demoed, the defense of Snake Island has done a good job getting their sticks in the shooting lanes.
No look up to the top. Shot there from Marvin Carey, turned aside by Demude. Curry to Patterson, down in the corner. Patterson's got a screen in front of him, and looked like
that went off the crossbar.
Yeah,
that went off the crossbar. Saw
space under the bar and just missed.
And didn't even look like he had a lot of velocity in that shot. Just nice, smooth aim.
He'll take top spot this time. Now go in to set the screen as it comes back to Curry. Devin Buckshot now. His one misses the mark off the boards, and what an outlet pass there.
Oh, my.
Around the back for Jerry Stotts. And Stotts will hold up and wait for Skylar Thomas and the rest of the offense. See if they can kill the majority of this 30 seconds or so left in the penalty. 10 to go on their shot clock, so Tuscarora will get about 12 left here. As Resetaritz slows it down and will dump it into empty space. Sprints up to center. Logan Monroe. Back now for Hunter Lemieux. Penalty about to expire. It now does. As Briar Jonathan comes to the floor already early in this first period. Tuscarora 0 for 2 now with the man advantage. Hunter Lemieux try to find Carson Reese up top, and it gets kicked around. Back for Baker Printup, who just has to bomb it down into the corner because there were a couple Muskies players chasing him looking for the transition break. Josh Hewitt to the crease. And again, part of those NLL rules, this is a cylinder crease.
Yeah, it's actually a lot different than the NLL with that cylinder. The feet can't break the plane. You can dive, but once your feet come in, it's called a crease call.
Up top in the sidearm shot, another one there from Curry. Sounded like it hit Demude up high in the mask. Official checks on him. He says he's good. Watches transition back the other way. And a save made for Sprints.
That was Luke Magnan. Plays for Halifax Thunder in the NLL. A great defensive player. Getting a rare offensive opportunity on that breakaway.
Here's Joe Resetaritz now trying to make space for him. Stumbles down to a knee. Pass to the outside boards, and Resetaritz trying to cut through again. Teams did have a practice session yesterday. The last couple days there were a few practices here at the track. So when you have a new player that comes over from another team, especially like Joe Resiteritz, is going to be important on the offense. It's how to work them in. Pick and roll back the other way, though. Nearly works for Nick Miller.
Yeah, that's a good point, fitting in new guys. Although I think most of these teams have so many good offensive players that, play summer ball. Many of them play NLL. I think they're getting used to playing with different guys.
That time Sam Firth looked off Resiteritz, took the shot himself, but once again it's Sprints there to slam the door. Jonathan Jimerson into the corner as Tuscarora brings it back in. Baker prints up, cuts to that, spinning back Curry. Damoud looking for it. It bounced back out in front where it's picked up here by Magnan. Again, no over and back here in CLA rules, so he can go back.
Yeah, that makes it easier to, take the pressure off, as Magnan did so well there. Running into a pile of players, just turn around, pass it back.
Slowly Vaughn Harris. Up top through the middle. Bit of a change-up shot from Chris Atwood. But he's on the board, and the Muskies are up 2-0.
Yeah, Chris Atwood is another player who has no problem putting the ball in the net. He's always been a good scorer in his career and just throws a pick and somehow slips open just a bit. But look at that shot. Again, not a lot of room, but he puts it in that top corner.
The reaction from Sprints looked like he thought with the spin it was going to be just that hard sidearm, but finessed into the back of the net from Atwood.
Playoffs this year, Atwood's had 9 goals, 8 assists for Snake Island, and I think you mentioned they went 7 games against Akwesasne, considered a bit of an upset that series. Akwesasne and Resitaris, Sean Evans, a number of NLL players, as many of these teams do.
Bucks silver medalist last year to Ladner, who we'll see in our next game, I believe.
Yep.
Ladner and Edmonton coming up at 2. Before a rematch of the Ontario Finals at 5 o'clock, Oakville, Six Nations. If you want to follow this whole tournament, be sure you subscribe to this channel here. Every single game will be in the playlist that's located here on the channel. We do have one on the other floor tomorrow as we run 2 at the same time, but that'll be the only one that be over on JVI Sports Network Channel 2. For now, though, Ryan Rice, that bounced by the line. I think it stayed out, and the referee was right there.
Yeah, somehow that squeezed through Sprints, and he just turned around the last second before it dribbled into the net.
Hunter Lemieux leaving it back here for, Chadwick. He crashes into the pile. Chadwick wants the shot, but the Muskies aren't going to give it to him. Up top now, he goes for Curry. 5 on the shot clock. Far side, another shot. I don't think that ever got through to Damoud, off the defender. And another good, just well-positioned defensive set for the Snake Island Muskies. They can't come away with the rebound. Picking it up and shooting is Lemieux. And when they do get the shot, Damoud there to shut the door.
A great play by Lemieux, though, to get that ball back and turn it into a scoring opportunity for himself.
Sam Firth near side for Atwood. One of the 2 goals in the game so far with 5 minutes left to go here in the first. Up top, faking low, going high was Resiteritz, just missed. Corner on the near side. Jonathan Jimerson had a bit of trouble with it at center. Got it back in the stick of Nick Miller now, though. And already halfway through the shot clock before Tomahawks get set. Baker prints up, returning it here. And Chadwick's shot bounces wide, and they're late in the 30 count. They did get it in on Damoud, but it was a weak bouncer he had no trouble with.
And, you know, I mentioned how Josh Anderson said that, you know, defense first on this team, Snake Island. And you can see it out there. Their defense is solid. They're not giving Tuscarora any good scoring chances.
They go up top and cross-checking penalty. I thought we were just going to get the
so did I.
Moving screen against Jake Rice, but he's going to go for a cross-check.
Yeah, I don't like this call. I thought it should have been a moving screen, but nonetheless, Tuscarora is going to get their third power play. See if they make any adjustments.
0 for 2 so far coming in.
We'll see if Patterson takes a few more outside shots.
This is him right now going to quarterback the set.
As they're not getting anything inside on this defense.
It's the second time they've tried to go quick stick right off the bat between Patterson and Lemieux. He'll now work off center. Back down into that corner, although Lemieux's come up to the shooter spot. Under 10 to go in the shot clock. Patterson's shot hits the defender around his back to throw it desperately towards the cage, and it goes wide, and again the shot clock will sound.
And again, the defense is just getting sticks in the lanes of shots and passes. Tremendous job by the Muskies.
Josh Hewitt now down to see what time he can kill. 14 shots on the board for Tuscarora now here in the first. As we near 3 minutes to go here in the first period. Hewitt. Hard through the middle. Resetaritz turned and fired. It was high off the glass. And now Ron John will leave it here near side. Hunter Lemieux had Luke Magnan all over him. Lemieux now breaks free. Curry up top to Patterson. The slow drum beat for this Muskies penalty killers. That shot sounded like it hit Damoud, but
now watch Damoud. He doesn't really come out of the net too much, and I think that's why there's nothing on the crease. He's not giving anything there, but this is where I think Tuscarora's got to take some outside shots.
Patterson will go set the screen this time, and nicely recovered by Zach Deacon. This time they do get a reset off Damoud. Down under 10 seconds left in the penalty, though. Buck shot for Patterson. And you called it, Jenny. The outside shot from Patterson works at the tail end of the power play.
Yeah, finally on their third power play, as you said, at the tail end. And it's Patterson who takes a shot. And, you know, it doesn't seem to be one of his best, but he's got nobody on his sticker. Watch the interference. He's got lots of room to wind up. And, yeah, I guess it was on Damoud's right side, just squeezed under the arm.
Credit to Carson Reese, the big pick in front. The opening goal for Tuscarora makes it 2-1 for the Muskies, who then come back and win the faceoff. Tyler Halls, who a couple years ago in Junior A had a monster tournament as Ontario Juniors came back out of the pandemic. Classic showcase here over 3 weeks. Skylar Thomas having a bit of trouble with this off the boards. Will now flip to Sam Firth. On the crease, in the crease, landed Thomas. Sprinted, made the save anyways. Both teams have 2 timeouts to work with here as we get down towards the final minute. They can take at any point, but only 1 per period. They go far side. Look at the number of moves from Marvin Curry. Bench was calling for a crease call. Damoud had made the save anyways. Resetaritz. Atwood trailing the play. Last one out there is Hewitt. Atwood still with it. Rebound picked up and spun by Rice. Now Resetaritz just misses. All the way back up top again. They're going to go quick shot. Resetaritz scores.
You know, you just said Resetaritz misses, and I thought he's missed quite a few. He's got to find his range sooner or later. And that ball, fortunately for him, came straight back to him, and he didn't make the same mistake. this time. Okay, there's the one. That's a big miss. He missed over the net earlier, but he gets it right back. Let me do it again, and that one's a perfect shot.
Ty Thompson was on defense on him and thought that was going to turn into transition, took off down the floor, and that opened up the second shot for Resetaritz as well. But you're right. Even before that, there were a few that Resetaritz missed. And
you always know with these big shooters, like even if they are missed, sometimes they shoot so fine, they're aiming for corners and all that, and eventually they find their range.
We got a set of rosters earlier in the week, and Resetaritz was a late addition as well. So, again, talking about
good call.
Not just him fitting in with the offense, but him personally fitting in with the offense too.
And you know what? Like, Resetaritz is an American-born player, but he has played a ton of box lacrosse his whole career. I think he's one of the best American, if not the best American box lacrosse player that I've seen. There's some people might argue about Tom Schreiber or maybe Casey Powell in his prime, but Resetaritz is definitely one of them.
No time for a last-second shot here for Chadwick or Tuscarora. And we got a takedown right at the horn, but 3-1 the score. A Snake Island lead after the first period. This is game number 1 of 4 here today on day number 1 of 7 at the 2023 President's Cup in Oakville. We'll take the timeout and be back with you in 10 minutes for period number 2. Back at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center for period number 2, 3-1 for the Muskies after that first period. Tuscarora being awarded that opening face-off for a violation. They'll go right to left here in period number 2. Matthew Carrick alongside Brian Shanahan and our JVI Sports Network crew. And it starts with an outside shot from Kent. Baker prints up to get Tuscarora back within 1.
And not really a great scoring chance. He's pretty far outside, but he has plenty of time to wind up. No sticks on his stick, and that's what Snake Island did so well in that first period. And he beats Demuth on that shot. But, I was thinking Snake Island was the better team in the first period, and it was probably the 3 power plays that enabled Tuscarora to get so many shots and eventually a power play goal. And but, they've got Darius Kilgore on that bench, one of the greatest lacrosse players of all time. I'm sure he's made a few adjustments for Tuscarora to somehow beat this defense from Snake Island.
They go over the top again.
And maybe it's just taking more outside shots, too.
Trying to remember the quality shots that Tuscarora took in that first, and I really can't.
Not a lot. But, sometimes if you start taking more outside shots, and especially if you can beat the goalie like they did there, I wouldn't say it was a great goal, but then the defense got to adjust. The defense has to spread out. Sometimes that opens up other things.
Shot on the run this time from Sam Firth. Looking low on sprints. Will be picked up by the Muskies. They get a fresh 30 seconds. Skylar Thomas trying to find Jerry Stotts in stride. No real surprises in terms of goal scorers in that first period. Joe Resiteritz, Vaughn Harris, Chris Atwood for Snake Island, Anthony Patterson, the power play goal for Tuscarora. From the outside, Muskies have it, dragging through, delayed penalty, they score. All being done by Vaughn Harris.
Vaughn Harris just looks so smooth on this goal. First beating his man, and I think his man just overcommitted. He got the step on him and then calmly makes a couple of moves, brings it across the body of Sprents and puts it in for his second goal of the game.
And that's so dangerous that Vaughn Harris can do a lot of his work down low by the crease. When you think of some of the other threats that they've got from the outside, really gives the defense and goaltenders a lot to think about. Magnan going to chase this one down, but got beat by Carson Reese. And now all the way down towards the crease was Chadwick.
It's not a bad scoring chance on that player. That was good shot opportunity, but Demuth, he really does look big in that net. There's not a lot, from our angle here, you see there's not a lot of spots to shoot at.
Muskies will bring it back again. Tyler Haltz. Off the bench is Joe Hall.
Resiterit's got an assist there. He's got 3 points of their 4 goals, so that has been a good pickup, reaping benefits already.
This ball bounces all the way out to Josh Hewitt. Going to turn, shot clock resets as he rips one in on Sprents, but hit him right in the chest. Now Sprents up for Heron Snow. Snow around a screen, trying to turn it into a pick and roll with Baker Printup, but Muskies defense and Nate Woods all over that. Baker Printup up top. Goes to the net, no pass. Ball did come through, but intercepted by the Muskies. Here's Miles Jacobs. Waiting for that offensive change to complete over on the home bench. Skylar Thomas around the outside, only 10 on his shot clock now. Thomas sends it back towards the corner, but it's intercepted. Picked off, and down floor goes Jonathan Jimerson. Elects to pass, works it all the way back up top, and
a little bit of cheating off the bench for Tuscarora, but they got away with it. And if you can, that gives you an extra jump And this is the period where we can see both benches can get that offensive jump if someone from the defense gets there quick enough.
Taking advantage early in the opening 4 minutes of this second period. Joe Hall couldn't find a cutter there. A pair of assists for Hall in that opening frame. Heron Snow with another loose ball, but he gets swarmed behind the bench. Behind the net, excuse me. Passing up for Ron John, who will stay up on offense for, I believe, the first time, and now he's going to head off after passing the ball. Into the stick of Chadwick. Defense arrived quickly, knocked it out of his stick, and now Zach Deacon.
Yeah, that was a great job by Briar Jonathan, to come over, double team the man. He saw that he was susceptible and picked the right time to come at him.
Jerry Stotts to Sam Firth, all the way far side, Resetaritz. Resetaritz with room, that shot. The defender's stick in front. And
yeah, I think that was Evan Printup. Did a good job getting his stick in front of Resetaritz when he was winding up for that shot.
They'll come back to Firth now on the outside with a fresh 30 seconds. Getting it through to Harris, sprints near the line. No idea where the ball is, but the official's right there.
Yeah, this is where Sprent should just be crawling out of the net with that ball under him.
Sprents and a couple defenders and an official, and they say we remain 4-2 right now. Marvin Curry back into the fray. Shot coming from that far side. Nick Miller, that hit something in front.
Yeah, again, stick on stick.
Eventually bouncing to DeMood, where Tyler Halls slowly jogs it up the near side. Brian Rice into the corner. Had thoughts about taking it to the crease, but now goes back to Sam Firth. Another shot clock that's down deep before the shot comes through, and Sprents kicks it away.
Yeah, that's a nice leg save by Sprents. Off a good shot.
Carson Reese over center, fakes the shot. Going to pull it all the way back up top. Now gets a screen. Goes to Baker Printup. Far side Chadwick. No room. Low pass. Another late shot clock before Devin Buckshot sends it in on DeMood. No sense of urgency here from Luke Magnan. He'll find the captain, Joe Hall. Hall tries the swim move, going one-on-one with his defender. And winning the battle was Dan Krikansky. Shot does come from Resetaritz, was knocked down after the fact, and may have caused it to be a bit of a change-up in on Sprents. Kyle Henry through Anthony Patterson. Just the one goal for Patterson so far, and now a turnover and a 2-on-1. Nate Woods leading the charge. Magnan picks it up, and Sprents can't get across. Magnan with the goal.
Really, we haven't seen much transition from Snake Island up to this point. And they're waiting, they wait for a good opportunity, and this is a good opportunity for transition. And Magnan just the right spot at the right time. He was just up there sort of to run a little interference for Woods, and he got that rebound and put it in.
And the other part of that crease rule is he's got to wait for that ball to come out of the blue turf.
Yeah, you're right. That's one of the other differences. In the NLL rules, you're allowed to reach in, pull that ball out.
It's a couple times now we've seen Magnan, again, one of these guys plays for Halifax in the NLL, recognizing the rule book he's playing under and using it to his advantage.
Yeah, Magnan, that's his first goal of the playoffs. I'm not sure how many goals he got in the regular season, but they don't have him on this team for goals. They have him for his great defense, but smart play, heads-up play on that transition goal.
Carson Reese over the top on the run. Shot goes wide off the end boards, picked up by Buckshot. Buckshot cross floor, low shot Curry. And just a quick stick to the left side here, Shanny, off the really good loose ball, and we're going to get a Water break called by DeMude.
Yeah, it's Tuscarora. They are not going away. They seem to be hanging in there. And that was just, those side-to-side passes really make the goalie move. And the fact that he took that shot so quickly is the reason he put that in.
Well, and you mentioned it earlier, when you have a goaltender like DeMude, who we see there on screen, not a goaltender that does move a lot. He's plays more of the angle, so get him off that spot.
Yeah, I like his style. That he plays in the net. You got to pick a corner if you want to. You got to be a sharpshooter if you want to score an outside shot on him. Granted, a couple of outside shots have gone in, but he has not given much. The passes to the crease, the quick sticks. It's so much easier for a goalie who plays within the net to get over there for those shots, and on the quick stick opportunities.
Man, we're going to see some good goalies in this tournament. Christian Del Bianco coming up. Edmonton's got Cam McLeod. Of course, Nick Rose.
Yeah, we'll see
Oakville.
Del Bianco in our next game. And I was talking to the management from Ladner, and they said, yeah, he's been bored this year. This is his chance to shine. Their playoffs, they were games were not even close.
Of course, I don't know how many times Del Bianco's been to Ontario in a national championship already. That tremendous junior run that he had is come out for a Mann Cup already.
Yeah, you remember back in that Minto and Brampton out. That was the first time I got to see him up close. And what I love about him is not just the fact that he's a great goalie, but he seems to pick up his game when it's most important.
Long-time career in Calgary, his new head coach. Over on the Tuscarora side.
Called for the crease.
Watching a crease violation, and all the way down floor quickly. Shane Francis the other way sprints.
Oh, that was a big save for Sprents. How demoralizing is that when you think you score a goal on one end and the ball comes up and the other end to score, but Sprents made sure that didn't happen.
Well, he's going to do our replay op a favor here and give him time, hopefully, to check this play the other way.
Yeah, watch this. Yeah, the foot
step,
stepped in the crease.
Yep.
The referee was right on that, but then, right back up the floor. That's, one of the reasons we love lacrosse. The play goes back and forth so quickly, and that could have changed the momentum on a dime.
Sean Grenier, the lead there, is a NLL official, again representing Ontario here in this tournament. Remind you of the upcoming schedule. Ladner, Edmonton, 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Our opening ceremonies will precede game number 3 of the day. Oakville and Six Nations. Jake Elliott and Pat Gregoire will take over the headsets for that game, as well as our primetime match at 8 p.m. Snake Island back on the floor against Ganawaki for the cap of day number 1.
So many good games, even like Oakville and Six Nations. That's a tough way for both of those teams to start the tournament.
Open your tournament.
Yeah, they just had a good series in the Ontario finals. And like I said earlier, you could lose one game, could mess up the tournament for you. You were mentioning it's you got to be in the top 4
and come out. That's the sprint part where you got to be on your A game as soon as game number 1 starts. You can't ease into this tournament by any stretch, but you still got to be there once we get to Friday, Saturday. Part of the reason why. I've heard players talk about it, hate playing in this tournament, but love playing in the tournament at the same time.
I actually played in the President's Cup once in my career, and it was grueling. Plus the fact that so many of the teams we were facing were picking up guys, and as an Ontario team, we couldn't. We hobbled into the tournament, and we hobbled out. No medals.
Well, Six Nations, the bronze medalists. Ladner, the defending champions. Trip in the corner, picked up, and Joe Hall.
Tuscarora is not going to like that. That pick was a very aggressive pick, knocking down the defender. Watch this pick on your right. We didn't see it. So the pick set it all up, and they score on that. And earlier on, we saw a penalty called on an aggressive pick.
That's right. That was the early one. I think Jake Rice going off for the cross check. If you call it, Roger Kreisler not happy over on that visitor's bench.
Oh yeah, you see, Darius Kilgore is talking to the referee, letting him know.
Bouncy ball, Tuscarora picks it up and outlet pass looking for Marvin Curry. It just bounced off his stick. And the first look for Snake Island was up the floor, and they got a man open again. It's Nate Woods.
Nice.
What a back check. And we got
like
a player down and maybe hurt. Tuscarora player down in the crease. Can't see the number, but you've got to credit him for
that was a beautiful stick. Are you going to see? It's
check.
all stick on stick.
Oh.
Did you see who that was? But great, desperate attempt, just swinging that stick one-handed from a distance, and it was all stick on stick to save that breakaway. I hope he's all right, and it looks like he's getting up. I believe that's Zach Belter.
Looks like it's Zach Belter, yeah. Buffalo draft pick. And I was paying a bit more attention to the leg. That did not look good going down. You can already see a big brace on the left knee, but
here again, you see the stick check. It looks almost like a wild swing, but it is well aimed swing. Oh, that's too bad that he's they're helping him off the floor.
Looked like he caught a piece of the foot of Brian Rice right at the last second before going down, but
and on that Tuscarora bench, we mentioned Darius Kilgore and Roger Kreisler. This Tuscarora team won the President's Cup in '94, and Roger Kreisler was on that team that won, and I would not be surprised if there's a few other parents of players who are on the teams. The Printup's a name that's been involved in the lacrosse there for a long time. I would bet Emmett Printup was probably on that team, but they would like to redo what they did many years ago.
Well, and as you said, coming in, they feel like they're on borrowed time, and often those are the teams playing with house money that you got to look out for.
That's exactly it.
The way Dylan Sprint's played through the playoffs as well, get a hot goalie at the right time. And one of these teams is going to start, well, I shouldn't get ahead of myself, 1-0, but possibility to be 0-1, by the way. No overtime in the round robin, I was told by head official Del Set. A lot to go before we have to worry about that. Briar Jonathan near side. Turn it back into the far corner for Harris. Tried to bounce it to Rice, and Rice can't pick up cleanly. It goes all the way up top for Jonathan again, and no time for him to get a shot away. Under 9 to go here in the second period. 6-3 lead for the Muskies, who have not trailed yet in this game. Chadwick looking for help. Finds it in the form of Baker Printup. Flip pass caught between a pair of players, and again, it's going to be broken out by the Muskies. It's Tyler Halls who fires it off the arm of Sprents.
That's about the third breakaway opportunity that the Muskies have had in the last 5 minutes.
Skylar Thomas keeping it alone, finds a cutter, and a twist shot from Sam Firth. Sprents will turn that away as well.
And Sprents is giving his team a chance.
Absolutely.
They're not out of this game by any means, but you can't turn it into 7-3, 8-3.
Shots nearly even, and perhaps one too many moves for Chadwick there on the crease. Nice defensive effort from Shane Francis, but Tuscarora come away with a fresh 30. Chadwick again looking off the bench. Chadwick now over the top. got filled in just as he was about to pass to Carson Reese. That forced it errant in the corner, under 10 on the shot clock now. As it comes back up to Buckshot. Takes it to the net, and Damoud will make the save. Loose ball battle. Pulled out by Briar Jonathan, and the Muskies have it again.
No real sense of urgency to get that ball up the floor quickly. No 8-second clock.
Resiteritz to Atwood off the bench. He wants to rip from outside and hit the bar.
You got a couple of big shooters out there with, Atwood, Vaughn Harris, not to mention Resiteritz. I don't think, is that him here? Yep, he's out there too, so that's some pretty good righties.
Works around a pair of screens, now down to the crease, and Rice cut back. Forgot to take the ball with him, and that means it's in the stick of Kikansky quickly, and the shot from Damoud caught against the left pad. Muskies bring it back again. Seems like last few minutes have been a lot of pressure from the Muskies. So you wonder about Tuscarora's defense perhaps getting tired here. Not sure what that was supposed to be from Brian Rice, but didn't work and bounced away.
3-on-1.
Magnan got run over, and he's slow to get up in front of the Tuscarora bench. Not sure what happened there, but now there's another Muskies player down in the hands of Chadwick, who raced back to catch up to that loose ball, and he'll turn it back for the Tomahawks.
Yeah, I think that last play seemed to be a missed opportunity for Tuscarora. They had a 3-on-1 after Magnan went down and just kind of took the outside shot. I don't think it was the best choice.
Damoud down and will make the save. I can see Zach Belter. There is a bit of a hobble in the step, but at least up and walking around under his own power off to the side of that Tuscarora bench. But meanwhile, it's Josh Hewitt with the ball down on the floor. Back for Firth. Another chance that's deep in the shot clock from the outside. Vaughn Harris looking for the hat trick. Had it hit off a body, and Kikansky, man, couple chances in transition. He can hustle it up. Hasn't turned it into a scoring opportunity as of yet, but feels like it's coming. Shot through traffic. Looked like there was a hole to the side of the left of Damoud, but
yeah, that was a nice shot through a screen and hit Damoud in the right spot for Damoud.
So Rice has it again. 6-3, the Muskies lead. Resiteritz, Thomas, behind the back. Behind the back bouncer from Rice, well wide of the mark. Vaughn Harris, no time for a shot on that far side, but another play where a defender fell. This time, Muskies unable to capitalize.
This period is just flying by. Not a lot of stoppages. I don't think, have we had a penalty this period? I don't think so.
We'll get a goal, however. Curry second from up top, the sidearm past the screen.
And they're going to have the defense and Damoud having a little talk there. This is the second time they've scored from up here. And the defender, Shane Francis, I don't think he got up as high on the shooter as he would have liked to. And Curry just gets a perfect shot to the top corner. You know, and that's the thing about, the shooters in this tournament. There's going to be enough great shooters that if you let them wind up that much, they're going to pick corners.
This Senior B circuit definitely changing over the last, I want to say 10 years or so, where,
oh yeah,
I mean, there is NLL experience scattered all throughout all of these rosters, when it used to just be guys on the come up or the other side of that.
Well, a lot of elite players have decided they'd rather play in the Senior B circuit.
Not as big a time commitment, not as big a travel commitment in most cases. It really improves the quality of a tournament like this, and also, I mean, the parity coming in, as you said, there's about, 5 teams that could win this thing?
Yeah.
No disrespect to any of the teams that are here. Has a big move there and a duck. What a goal from Brian Rice. Been trying a couple different moves down below the crease and finally gets one to work.
Yeah, let's see. How did he get so open? Oh, my gosh. He just faked that outside shot. The defender bit, and he just walked around, and then all kinds of time on the goalie. Great play by Brian Rice.
We are seeing Belter, by the way, go to the locker room with the trainer, walk the long way around. So it doesn't look like going to return for the final 3 minutes of this second period at least, as there is all kinds of everything on this face-off battle. There were slashes, there were tugs. Tyler Halls went down, and that was finally where the whistle was blown to give it to Snake Island, who have just taken a 7-4 lead. On the run, sidearm.
That hurt.
Yeah. We could hear the groan from up here, and then a big two-hand shot. Tyler Kahn going to head off in the already stumbled defender of Ben Austin, trying to stand in front of another shot after just taking one down low. That's a lot more guts than I've got.
Oh, yeah. I never blocked a shot unless it was accidental. But he took that one hard, and he's going off the floor in pain. I'm sure he will be back. But they got a penalty on top of it, so this will be the first power play we see for Snake Island.
Skylar Thomas circling out of the corner, got a two-hander right after that shot block from Austin, who's gone to take a bit of a timeout over there on the bench. And it'll set up Snake Island's, well, I've got this as their first power play. Is that correct?
It is their first. That is correct. And we have got some shooters out here on this Snake Island power play.
Well, Tuscarora trying to turn it into the transition.
And great job is Skylar Thomas to run back to get his stick on that pass.
With Kritkowski. Going to slow it down now. Inside the 2-minute warning. 5 on the shot clock. Long-range shot from Kritkowski. Damoud will hang on. That'll be the 30th shot on net based on the scoreboard here in-house for the Tuscarora Tomahawks. No-look pass all the way up top. No shot from Harris. Does come from Resiteritz, but
nice
Sprints
save.
will make the save. And Tuscarora turning it into transition. They left way early in another collision by the Tuscarora bench.
Yeah, both guys went down. I know, obviously they're saying that Tuscarora was the guilty party. No penalty, though.
It was Resiteritz and perhaps Ron-John. And Ron-John getting the worst of that, who hobbles to the bench. Weird little shot there. Not sure if it hit the defender, but here's Tuscarora out behind everybody. Jonathan Jimerson's shot bounces wide.
That would have been a big one.
Rebound comes all the way back towards center. Brian Rice, it sounds like
they've called a timeout.
Josh Sanderson wants the timeout. This will be the first one of the game for either side. And
38 seconds to go in the period, but only 19 on that shot clock. And Snake Island have actually given up a few good transition opportunities for Tuscarora.
Not just NLL experience on the floor, but how about on the bench as well. Josh Sanderson will have a new job when the season kicks off in December.
Absolutely. Just named head coach for Calgary. He won a championship for Calgary back, I believe it was 2008. One of his NLL championships.
And of course,
also won with the Rock.
Can't mention that job opening without Talking about what Kurt Milosky's doing out in Vancouver right now.
Yeah,
the resurgence there.
That seems to be getting a lot of momentum there in Vancouver. He's managed to get some big names to go there, and it might not be over.
So just when we said the first power play of the game, we'll see what they do with their final 18 seconds here. The Muskies after the timeout. Damoud still in the net. Harris working it through the near side. Firth getting it back up top. Resetaritz. Ball rolled right to Joe Hall, who picked it up and shot. Went up off of Muskie's player. And the final 20 seconds is 5-on-5. Tuscarora electing not to call timeout. Rebound. Up and out of play.
Oh, they might call timeout here. I think they're getting the ball back. Let's see if they do.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're discussing it.
Yeah, I was actually surprised they didn't call as soon as they got that ball. Maybe they didn't want to lose the transition opportunity, but Wise here, I believe, with 11 seconds to go. They're all even 5-on-5 to call a timeout and get that extra man on the floor.
I'm not going to disagree with Darius Kilgore. Even if I am, I'm not going to tell him I did.
No. Yeah, Darius Kilgore was one of the most intense, skilled, and intense players, in the history of our game. I was fortunate to play with him for many years, and what a great teammate he was. And wherever he went, championships followed. He won a number of Minto Cups, Man Cups, NLL championships.
You ever play against? Because I imagine that wasn't much fun.
I did a little bit. But no, you're right. It was, he was one of those shooters. I remember playing with the Ontario Raiders with Bob Watson was our goalie, and there was two guys that he just don't let them shoot, John Tavares and Darius Kilgore. Because it was just one of those guys who just, the shot always found a way to go in. He had a hard shot. And there was about 5 years in his career when he was graduating from junior. I think he won 2 Mintos the end of his junior career, won about 3 Man Cups after that, and a couple of NLL championships where he just couldn't lose.
Final shot now for his Tuscarora Tomahawks. We'll see what play he's come up with. Pops out of the stick of Marvin Curry. Quick one to the far side. Damoud will stop that, and the Muskies still leading now. It was 3-1 after one, 7-4 after 2 periods. But, I mean, this is pretty much what we sort of expected here, I think.
Yeah, I think Tuscarora is doing well to hang in there. The Muskies seem to be, a little bit stronger, but there is no quit in this Tuscarora team. But every time they get within 2, the Muskies extend that lead a bit. It should be a good third period.
Well, we'll see if they can break through in the third period, which comes away in 9.5 minutes. This is game number 1 of day number 1 of the 2023 President's Cup from the Toronto Rock Athletic Center in Oakville. Back live at the President's Cup here in Oakville, Ontario. Snake Island Muskies, leading 7-4 after 2 periods. And they've done it, Brian, with 6 different goal scorers as well for Snake Island.
Yeah, I think the only multiple goal scorer is Vaughn Harris with a couple, and they've spread it out otherwise. Joe Hall, Brian Rice, Luke Magnan, the defender, and Atwood. Oh, of course, Joe Resetaris.
And Resetaris, yeah. He's got 3 points, 4 for Vaughn Harris. On the other side, Marvin Curry, the only double goal scorer. Anthony Patterson got it started on the power play, and Kent Baker print up.
Now, you mentioned at the start of this game that Snake Island will be playing a second game.
Yes, they have the
tonight.
8 o'clock tonight against Kahnawake.
So, I mean, this game is too close. There's no breathing room for them. So, I'm sure they would love to have a healthier lead where they could slow things down, but they won't have that luxury, at least not yet.
Well, head coach Galiwade Mitchell said, they're coming off a hard series, and he actually thinks it might even benefit them because, rather than sit around and wait and get into the momentum of the tournament, you're right in and you're right in right away. And there was no time to kind of relax and wait it out.
Yeah, and I like that. I agree with that philosophy, too. I think it's better coming from intense lacrosse than, say like a team like Ladner we mentioned earlier that, they were winning their games like 19-6, and they really haven't been threatened since a early season loss. And they got to pick up their intensity all of a sudden.
Well, they are the defending gold medalists. We'll see what they can do when they face Edmonton coming up in our next game. As Tuscarora tries to find a backdoor cut from Carson Reese. Be sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. There's a playlist located there where every single game throughout the tournament will be live here, courtesy of the JVI Sports Network. Vaughn Harris, as we said, 4 points through 2 periods. Sitting outside right now, the pick from Chris Atwood. Harris cuts the corner, looks to the top over sprints, and there's the hat trick.
He is so dangerous. He started the game, showing us his sniping abilities, but his last 2 goals have been similar to this. Inside, takes his man low one-on-one, little swim move, but doesn't need a lot of room and just stretches his arms across that far corner.
And the help defenders there, Ron John as well, gets the stick on him, but he's got the full steam ahead, and there's just nothing that either of those 2 defenders could do.
And I've always thought of, Vaughn Harris as more of an outside shooter. He does have a great outside shot, but obviously showing his ability to go low and inside.
4-goal lead, the largest of the day for the Muskies so far. On the run, trying to stretch it again is Josh Hewitt. Save made by Sprents, who has made a ton of them shots. Even right now, 32-32. 19 for the Muskies to 16 through the second period. High step shot from Chadwick. Off the arm of Demude. We're back to our first period floor configuration. Shane Francis taken down. Bench wanted a call on the extra slash. Not going to get one. And Chadwick having something to say to Magnan.
I thought that was a good play. I didn't think there was anything illegal about that hit.
Vaughn Harris into the corner for Atwood, and then Jake Rice is going to hit the highlight reel in this tournament. You can bank on that. The number of moves he's tried to pull out in this game.
Well, that backhand shot, it's just missed by a bit there. Those are tough for a goalie.
Tried the behind-the-back bouncer earlier in the second. Gotta think something's gonna fall at some point. Miles Jacobs recovering the possession here for Snake Island. And Tyler Halls will gain center again. No over and back as we play CLA rules.
And watch to see if Snake Island just slows this pace down every time they get the ball.
4 goals, not a huge margin, but the time has been absolutely bleeding away in this game. We're going to get another penalty here against Tuscarora. It'll be a hold. Just the second power play of the game coming up for Snake Island, but that will also help Again, they're back on the floor in 7.5 hours from now.
And this is just Brian Rice taking it to the net, causing the penalty against him. So it'll give them the power play. 0 for 1 on the power play. Snake Island just one opportunity. They actually gave up a breakaway while they were on the power play. See if they shut that down this time.
That was last period. As Resetaritz takes top spot and the shot taken away, they go back to Harris and then
a couple of good saves.
Yeah, Atwood tried to sneak it through Sprints, but at least 2, if not 3, on that last sequence. However, the Muskies are able to reset the shot clock. Another quick stick on the left side. And Skylar Thomas, I think he was suggesting that was back in. Vaughn Harris taking top spot this time. Down low to Sam Firth, and Thomas is actually going to go off here. 8 a slash, and it's Vaughn Harris who's looking down at his left hand.
Yeah, they do not want to lose him.
No. Tuscarora trying to turn some penalty kill transition again. This would be an over and back if it
that came within inches.
Had crossed that face-off restraining line, but just keeping the play alive was Hunter Lemieux, who turns and shoots, and it's Demude that's going to hang on to the rebound. Briar Jonathan has 25 seconds with which to work. Tried the hidden ball play on the back of the stick and dropped it, which would give it away every time. Around the back through Joe Hall. And Sam Firth wants to shoot. Sprints with the save. Rebound in front. Thomas back out there. And Sprints killing off that power play for Tuscarora. And they turn it into quick transition back the other way, forcing Demude into a save.
Yeah, that's a big save for Demude, who's looked good all game long. Good penalty kill for Tuscarora. They would have really liked to score on that opportunity at the end of the power play.
Here's Josh Hewitt for the Muskies. He wants to cut the corner. Does his best Vaughn Harris impression. Didn't get the goal on the back end, and insult to injury was filled in after the fact. Cutter is Marvin Curry. He's sitting on a pair. Curry up top for Lemieux. Hunter Lemieux. Former Burlington Blaze player. 5 on the shot clock. They'll skip it into Demude. And gives us a chance to congratulate Burlington on winning the Minto Cup last night.
Yeah, that was a great job by Burlington. I think much of this season we thought that it was going to be Orangeville, and Orangeville did have a great season, but Burlington
undefeated, 20-0. Yeah,
that team showed a lot in the playoffs, and it just continued after that Orangeville series.
Peaked at the right time. Deacon Knott was unreal after that deadline trade. Back here in Oakville, though, the shot from Atwood into the midsection of Sprints. Who we kind of knew was going to be the story coming in for Tuscarora, but perhaps more than that here in this opening game, even despite the 4-goal deficit. Chadwick shook his defender down in the corner. Lemieux with it. Double team. Still got it. Takes the shot.
Oh, my.
And Demude had to sprawl to make the save. Lost his stick in the process. How about the move from Lemieux, who then gets up.
All over Lemieux, too. That was a great effort to almost score what would have been a huge goal for Lemieux.
Going back after the loose ball, too much into the back of Deacon. Gives it back here to Snake Island, but what a possession there for Hunter Lemieux. Resetaritz All the way up top, Harris. Pardon me, that was Josh Hewitt.
You just feel that the way that Snake Island is playing defense, they are not giving anything easy.
No.
If you were to score, you're going to have to earn them. You know, I know a couple of outside shots went in, but you're not going to score on outside shots too many times on Demude.
I'm sure Ganawaki watching intently as they'll have to get creative later this evening. Once with the other coaches here in this tournament. Moving screen called at the tail end of the shot clock is going to give Tuscarora an extra opportunity here. Chadwick shoots through traffic and scores.
That's a nice play, and take what they give you, because Snake Island is not giving them much. And watch here, Chadwick just comes around with a little speed, and as Magnan switches to head up on him, he just shoots it through his legs. That's a huge goal for Tuscarora. If they want to make an opportunity to go for this game, they got to score in a few goals. They got to make some things happen. That's a good goal.
I think the huge goal part of that is redundant because Jimmy Chadwick scored it, and seems like he only scores big goals. Tyler Hall is winning the face-off. Despite the best efforts of Tyler Kahn to chop that one free, Skylar Thomas there to pick up. And every time it seems that Tuscarora's had a sniff about getting back in this game, the Muskies have answered. What do they have here? It's a shot from Resitera. It's off the leg of Sprents. And Tuscarora going to turn it in transition, but the Muskies had a defender waiting. Crashing in was Anthony Patterson, who's been quiet, save for that power play goal. Patterson going to stay on the floor now. Getting Nick Miller involved. 2 assists through the first 2 periods. Miller passing back up top. Wide open shot, and a wide one taken from Jonathan Jimerson. Rebound right back to Lemieux. He goes back after the loose ball, and not tracking offensive loose ball stats in this tournament, but Lemieux's going to have a ton of those by the time we're done. That shot hits his own man.
Oh, gosh.
Not entirely sure where that got Nick Miller, but
a little bit jumping the step of Tuscarora, though.
They must have got the hammer down call from the bench, I think.
Honestly, they got to do it now. 10 minutes to go.
Already halfway through this third and final regulation time period. Shot from Joe Hall. Hit traffic in front, rolls out to the corner. Harris, no shot, brought it back up. Then took one that went wide. And Baker prints up. Back for Chadwick.
Well, much of this period has been played in the Snake Island end.
Wide shot there from Curry, still sitting on those pair of goals. Despite that, still just 1 goal apiece coming out of that timeout. Skylar Thomas bouncing around the outside. One-handed catch and goal. Brian Rice.
This was impressive. You said it. It's not just the catch, which I was impressed with. The fact that he was able to take an underhand shot in the corner with a little velocity. That's a nice goal. Brian Rice's second of the game, and that takes a little bit of pressure off for Snake Island.
Back to a 4-goal advantage. Brian Rice goal of the game so far, and could be for more than one reason. Jimerson wants transition, and Damoud with the save on Heron Snow breaking in off the faceoff. Tyler Hall's back across to Hewitt. You can see underneath of us the Edmonton Miners, Ladner Pioneers getting ready for their game. An hour, 24 minutes coming up at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Under 10 on the shot clock in this one, though, for Snake Island. We've still got 8 minutes left here. No shot for Chris Atwood, so he'll just dump it down in the corner. Earlier on in his career, that's a shot that Atwood probably would have taken. But
yeah. But you know what? At this point, this team, they're a disciplined team. They want to control things. They don't want to take any wild shots. There's no need.
Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Tuscarora starting to run out of time if they want to close the gap here. Goals have been hard to come by. The other part of that equation. Wide shot picked up by Lemieux, who's really turned it on here in this third period. Carson Reese.
That was a nice play and a quick shot, but Damoud stepped up to suck that shot in.
The Muskies clear center, and Resiteritz will slow it down again with Thomas. Off the bench is Rice. He's sitting on a hat-trick watch now, and second of the game was that beautiful one-hander moments ago.
Well, I don't know if he got a stick check or not, but that just flew out of Rice's
He
stick.
shot it with two hands. Doesn't know how to do that.
Exactly, yeah.
Here comes Jimerson. Look at the ball moving here from Tuscarora, but even better movement from Damoud in the crease. Turning it away from Marvin Curry, who's still tied up. Him and Briar Jonathan having a few words off to the side of Damoud. Tuscarora in a half-court press now. They got two guys all the way up at the timeline.
They really have to, because Snake Island is just like making this clock tick.
Heron Snow even higher still as they now go back into a traditional defensive set with the shot clock about to expire. 6 minutes now to go, and you're right. Throughout this entire game, this clock it's almost felt like a runtime game.
Yeah, it's just flown by. Like not too many penalties.
Much to the light of Mike Hancock and the organizers of the tournament, who want to try and keep the rest of the day on schedule. Which includes, by the way, prior to that 5 p.m. game, opening ceremonies. Running down the far side, here's the Muskies. Two transition, the spin move, and the goal from Zach Deacon.
Oh, nice play from the Orangeville native, Zach Deacon. And it was also a nice play by his teammate Nate Woods. Watch Nate Woods just running a little bit of interference in there. Nate Woods did not even want to be part of that. He didn't want the ball. He just let me sort of help get in the way, and just did enough that he wasn't called for any kind of interference.
Nearly ran interference on Deacon himself, but.
And I like Deacon's game. You saw him play junior. Good defensive player. Not a big guy, but he plays tough defense, plus he runs the ball up the floor well. Gets a big goal now and again.
Becomes the 7th different Snake Island Muskie to score here in this game. Combining for 10 on the board. And now up to their largest lead of 5. They're discussing this face-off.
We got a timeout. That Snake Island has called the timeout, so
this is their last one.
5 minutes to go, and it's obvious. It looks like they would need an absolute collapse not to get the victory here, so they would like to walk out of here healthy and just minimize the chances by Tuscarora, but stay out of trouble.
Well, again, the first team with a chance to walk out of day number 1 potentially up 2-0.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if you go to your hotel room after the first day with a pair of wins under your belt, that's a fantastic start in my mind.
You got to feel good about that. But you're right, Ganawaki will be watching this game, and they'll be fresh tonight.
As well, Jake Elliott, Pat Gregoire, who will have the call of that one. Actually, that would be their second in a row, so we'll see how fresh they are. Jake Elliott in transport at the moment,
really?
I believe.
Well,
so
you got to hope he gets there in time, or you might be doing 4 games today.
I was just about to say, hoping the clocks are running well everywhere else. Another story and situation for another day. This is the second time Tuscarora is going to have to touch the ball in the crease. DeMude doing the smart thing, letting the clock run. And they give it to Resiteritz. No problems with him fitting in now.
DeMude is done for the morning.
Trey Adams sneaking in as the goaltender in behind the play. With only 10 seconds left on the Muskie shot clock. And 4.5 to go in regulation. Goliwade Mitchell believes that win number 1 has been, for the most part, secured. And Trey Adams getting some time here in the net. And with the game tonight.
Yeah, you know they're going back to DeMude tonight.
And why not? Good performance here in game number 1. He's going to take about 7 hours or so to rehydrate and breathe a little bit. Shot through from Curry. That hits how many Tuscarora shots? I mean, they're showing 43 on net, but there's been a ton more that have hit sticks and bodies and their own players.
Yeah, you're right.
Credit Snake Island's defense. Credit Nick DeMude here in this one, because that could be a much different number. And by the way, if we get into, told you the semifinal day will be the top 4 into the semifinals when we get to Friday, looking ahead. So goal differential and the goal calculations, you know, it is 5 goals here, but if you win outright, it makes it pretty easy. Have to consider that as we get down the wire here as well. Baker Printup bringing it across, a number of chops off ball. And the arm goes up, and Lemieux's going to sneak it in past the post.
Very nice shot by Lemieux, who has had a good game. Not a lot to show for it. But, you know, how many times has he caused turnovers in the offensive end, picked up the ball just with his pressure, and this time just a perfect shot to the top corner. And there was a delayed penalty on the play there. Obviously, he won't be going to the box now.
You said perfect shot. I mean, that was just a horrible angle off the inside of the bar and back into the net. And, you know, we don't necessarily cheer for teams or players, but the way that Lemieux played this period, I was glad to see that one go in and have him rewarded with a goal here in the third.
A lot of work, yeah. You know, I'm actually surprised. This late in the game, that last play, Jerry Stotts was like slashing away. He was going to get a penalty. And, you know, and this time I think it's Nate Woods takes a bit of a run. If maybe Snake Island's offense is backed off, their defense is not. I don't know if they can turn it off.
Nate Woods goes off. It'll be the 4th power play of the game for Tuscarora. 1 for 3 coming in. The only goal from Patterson, who is the top man here. Shoots around again and scores.
You know, seeing that shot, I'm thinking, why has Patterson not taken more shots this game? I realize both of his goals have been on the power play when he's, you know, got some room to wind up. But we talk about those shooters that, when they shoot, it can find the net, and that's the type of shot. DeMood has got a piece of both of Patterson's shots, but they both found the back of the net. So a couple of goals. It makes it a little bit tighter. I wonder if you're going to see the goaltender pulled now.
That's sprints you're talking about for Tuscarora, right?
Yeah,
I don't think Snake Island's going back to DeMood. I mean, he's in shutdown mode now.
No, they won't. There's no need to. But I would not be shocked to see if, Tuscarora getting the ball if they pull their goaltender.
Well, it's back within 3. Both teams keeping one player back. So effectively a 4-on-4 as we come into the 2-minute warning. Oh, a bounce shot that did hit the post from Josh Hewitt. But it goes straight to Tuscarora, who are going to push the floor. Ben Austin.
And it looks like Sprents is not coming off, but oh my gosh, that was a glorious opportunity.
Forced to his wrong side and then missed Curry, who was cutting in wide open. Curry has it again. Oh, DeMood went down and the ball sailed high. Perhaps a good thing they didn't pull him because Woods is coming in and his twist shot goes wide. Tuscarora back the other way. It's Curry, who never got off the floor. Here comes Woods. I mean, he's on or off. The switch on Woods.
Yes.
Ball will come back high step here from Jimmy Chadwick. Chadwick gets taken down. Ball arrives on scene. Him and Magnin stirring it up. Hunter Lemieux will hop in front of Magnin.
That's a nice little battle for a loose ball, but only 1 second left in the shot clock.
The intensity's kind of picked up here a little bit as well.
Yeah, one of the coaches, I'm not sure who it was, one of the coaches from Snake Island was giving it to the referees there.
Well, this was, a couple minutes ago, it was a 5-goal advantage. Go back to that goal differential conversation. 2 goals, big difference. To win counts, but back the other way, we get a
I heard it.
two-hander.
I didn't see it. Did you see it?
No. Ryan Thomas was out there with Tyler Kahn.
Yeah. I don't know if they're both going, but Ryan Thomas is definitely going. Well, that's funny because Chris Atwood stepped in the penalty box too. I don't know, that looks like a guilty conscience when you walk into the penalty box. So another power play. Generally, these tie-breaking formulas that you mentioned, how differential makes a difference. Usually, it's more important to keep your goals against down rather than piling up the goals.
Shot looking 5-hole. That was Curry.
Again, using every second they can.
Down to just 11, and I don't think there's a 3-goal play.
Nope.
Darius Kilgore's got a lot of them, but none that's going to give Tuscarora their first victory. They'll fall to 0-1, but full effort and a full 60 from Snake Island Muskies, who get the first win of the tournament here at the 2023 President's Cup.
Yeah, and it was a good battle. The Muskies were definitely the better team in this game, but you got to give it to Tuscarora. They battled, they hung with it. They just never were able to tie it up. They got down 3-1 in the first period. They got within 2 a number of times, were never able to tie up that game, and Muskies just managed this game very well.
There's your final score, 10-7. It is 10 minutes to 1 here in the Eastern Time Zone here in Oakville, Ontario. Coming up at 2 p.m., the defending champion Ladner Pioneers and the Edmonton Miners, who at one point won 3 straight not that long ago, will do battle. Brian Shanahan and myself, Matthew Carrick, will be back alongside our JVI Sports Network crew as day number 1 continues here at the 2023 President's Cup in Oakville.
We want to thank our partners for their support of the 2023 President's Cup. Bar Down, Ice River Green Bottle Company, Gatorade, Big Chief Meat Snacks, and the Oakville Pump and Patio. Thank you for your support and helping all the competing teams as they chase the Prezi.